Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rhiannon and today I'm bringing you a very big book haul. So I have decided to split this book haul up into little categories just to make it a bit easier to get through, and I think that the first one I'll start off with is pre-orders. I am very bad at pre-ordering a load of books and then forgetting that I even pre-ordered them, so when they arrive at my doorstep it is a lovely surprise, but I'm also quite shocked as to how many books I do actually pre-order because it's so easy to buy it, obviously not thinking the money or anything's going to come out for another few months, and then all of a sudden you have that book on your doorstep and you know nothing about it. So I might not give you the best synopsis in the world, but the first book I have in this little category is The Devil and the Dark Water by Stuart Turton. I honestly didn't even know that this was coming out. I stumbled upon it purely by chance, and as soon as I heard about it I pre-ordered it because I really enjoyed Stuart Turton's other book, which is The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, not to be confused with The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. But I believe this is a paranormal murder mystery set at sea, and honestly, what more could I want? You guys know I've been loving murder mysteries lately. I find them so easy to fall into. Obviously this is a chunky book, so I feel like it is going to take me a lot longer to get through, but wow, this book is absolutely beautiful. And it says here, it's 1634 and Samuel Pepys, the world's greatest detective, is being transported from the Dutch East Indies to Amsterdam, where he is facing trial and execution for a crime he may or may not have committed. Travelling with him is his loyal bodyguard, Arent Haynes, who is determined to prove his friend innocent, while also on board are Sarah Wessel, a noblewoman with a great secret, and her husband, the Governor-General of Batavia. But no sooner is the ship out to sea than devilry begins to blight the voyage. A strange symbol appears on the sail. A dead leaper stalks the decks, livestock is slaughtered in the night, and then the passengers hear a terrible voice whispering to them in the darkness, promising them three unholy miracles. First, an impossible pursuit. Second, an impossible theft. Third, an impossible murder. Could a demon be responsible for their misfortunes? With Pepys imprisoned, only Arent and Sarah can solve a mystery that stretches back into their past and now threatens to sink the ship, killing everybody on board. So it sounds like there is some paranormal goings on that has some sort of vendetta against these characters. It just sounds absolutely crazy, but I'm so intrigued by it that I just had to pick it up, and I do plan on getting to it very, very soon. Next up we have The Camelot Betrayal by Kiersten White. This is the sequel to The Guinevere Deception, which is a book I read at the start of this year actually, and I really enjoyed it. It was the type of book that I definitely needed as I was reading it. Looking back, it's probably not the best book I've ever read, but it just gave me all the fairy tale vibes. These are characters that I'm quite familiar with, and it was just really fantastical and exactly what I needed at the start of the new year. Like I said, this is the sequel, so I can't tell you much about this one, but in the first book we follow Guinevere, who is sent to Camelot to marry King Arthur, but not for the reasons you might think. She is actually sent to be his protector because people believe that he is in danger. Guinevere's real name is unknown because she is actually a changeling, and to keep Arthur safe she must now navigate the court in order to root out this threat on Arthur, because even though his knights believe that they are strong enough to face any threat, Guinevere knows that it will take more than swords to keep Camelot free and Arthur safe. I am so excited to get to this book. It was definitely one of my most anticipated releases, which you can obviously tell because I did have it pre-ordered. I'm not sure when I'll get to it. Maybe I'll read it at the start of the new year again, because that is when I read The Guinevere Deception and I really enjoyed it. I do think I need a little refresher though before diving into this, so if you guys have any book talks or reviews on the first book then please let me know, because I will be searching for book talks on The Guinevere Deception just so I can jump into this with the story fresh in my mind. The next pre-order is Over the Woodward Wall by A. Deborah Barker, aka Shauna Maguire. This is actually tiny, and I don't know what it is with Shauna Maguire and tiny books, but there we are. So if you don't know, this is the author of the Wayward Children series, which is a series that I really do enjoy. I have listened to all of them on audiobook, so I don't actually have the physical copies, but when I saw this was coming out I decided to pre-order it because this is a middle grade, and we have Avery, who is used to having everything in a specific way, and we have Zib, who is very different to Avery because everything she does is just completely unpredictable and spontaneous. These two actually live on the same streets but obviously live in completely different worlds. But it just says here, on an unplanned detour from home to school one morning, Avery and Zib find themselves climbing over a stone wall into the Up and Under, an impossible land filled with mystery, adventure and the strangest creatures, and they must find themselves and each other if they are to also find their way out and back to their own lives. This just sounds absolutely amazing. Again, it sounds fantastical. From the synopsis I do get Stranger Things vibes, which is a show that I do really really enjoy. And like I said, it is really short, so I think that this is going to be a book where I sit down and read in one sitting and just completely immerse myself in the story. And then lastly, for pre-orders, we have a beast of a book, and that is The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. I am very ashamed to tell you guys that I have not yet started this trilogy, the first book being The Poppy War. I feel like everyone on BookTube has been talking about this series lately, with a load of people reading The Poppy War for the first time, and some of them rereading the series in anticipation for the third and final book. I did actually start The Poppy War, I think it was a year and a half ago. I was actually on holiday and I was listening to the audiobook, but what I didn't realise was that I hadn't downloaded it, and so my data soon ran out and I couldn't listen to it anymore, and since then I've just not picked it back up. But I definitely plan on doing so because this is a series I know I'm going to love. Definitely going to be a heartbreaking one though, because we do deal with war. But in the first book, The Poppy War, we follow a girl named Rin, and one day when her guardians tell her that she needs to marry, she decides to take the Empire's test in order to gain entry into Singard, which is the military school in this world. But being a dark-skinned peasant girl is not easy in Singard. Rin is targeted from the outset by rival classmates for her colour, her poverty, and her gender. But there Rin discovers that she possesses a lethal, unearthly power, an aptitude for the nearly mythical art of shamanism. And through this, Rin learns that the gods she thought were long dead are very much alive. And with the Poppy War approaching, which is going to be horrific, Rin's shamanic powers may be the only way to save her people. I'm not going to tell you much more because I don't really want to know much more, to be honest with you. I feel like this is a series that you just need to dive into and experience for yourself. I am aware that there are a load of different trigger warnings for this series because obviously we deal with war, we deal with a lot of different hard topics, so I will leave a list of trigger warnings down below for you guys. I'm sorry if I don't get all of them. Like I said, I haven't read them myself, but I will try and find as much as I can and pop it in the description box for you. Next up, I'm going to move on to the books that I got throughout the month, starting off with Murder, Most and Ladylike by Robin Stevens. So I did actually buy the whole set of these books. They are just up there. But basically, if you saw one of my latest TBRs, I can't remember which one it is, I think it's for Believathon, you'll see that my copies have suffered very bad light damage and they just looked really bad. And so I decided to treat myself because I do enjoy these books. I think they're very fun little mysteries just to dive into. And the lovely Caris from Caris's Corner actually sent me a link where I could buy all these books for a discounted price, so thank you so much, Caris. In these books we follow Daisy Wells and Hazel Wong, who have created their own detective society. In this first book we are set at a boarding school where the girls are struggling to find an exciting mystery to investigate. That is until Hazel actually discovers the body of one of their teachers, and by the time she's run off to tell Daisy about this and both of them go back to investigate, the body has disappeared. And so now the girls have to solve a murder and prove that a murder has actually occurred in the first place. These are very fun murder mystery middle grade books. They are very easy to fall into. I think I read this book in a day. I read the second book in 2 days, I think, and it's just such a fun series to fall into. Next up is a book that I'm very excited about, and that is Fool's Errand by Robin Hobb. I'm currently participating in Elderling Along, which is a read-along hosted by Becca from Becca and the Books for her book club, Catch Up Book Club. We are currently on the Live Ship Traders trilogy, which is the second trilogy of Robin Hobb's Realm of the Elderling series, and this book is the first book in the third trilogy in that series, so it's definitely one that I wanted to pick up. I am going to get to it very soon. I know Elderling Along is going to take a break for a couple of months, but to be honest, I don't think I'll be able to wait that long before diving into this next trilogy. I have fallen in love with Robin Hobb's works. Every single book that I've read from her so far, I've given 5 stars. I love her world building, I love the politics within those worlds, and I just love the characters and the character development that we see throughout these books. And in this trilogy, we're going back to the OGs, where we are following characters from that first series. I can't really say too much about this one because it is going to spoil the first trilogy. Even the back is a spoiler for that, so I can't even give you a little bit of information about this book. But yeah, I cannot wait to get to this one. I'm definitely going to get to it soon, possibly January or February, and I honestly cannot wait. Next up, we have 2 books that I have been wanting to buy for so long, but I was really trying to be good and save some money. But as you can see, I have bought a lot of books anyway, and I thought, you know what, I just want to get them while I can, and I'm going to read them as soon as possible. The first one of those is Even the Darkest Stars by Heather Fawcett. I think I first heard about this book from Jade over at JD Ray Reads. If you don't know, she hosts a readathon called Polathon, where the aim of the readathon is to read polar fantasies, which are basically books set in any snowy setting. And I was going through a few of her videos and I saw that she recommended this one quite a bit, and she was amazed that this didn't have more hype. And so when I looked into it, it just caught my attention straight away. Not just the cover, but the story story itself. Our main character Kamzin has always dreamed of becoming one of the Emperor's explorers, the elite climbers tasked with mapping the wintry, mountainous empire and spying on its enemies. One day, the greatest explorer ever known, J.R.R, appears in her village and offers her the chance to go with him on his next expedition. And this is a bit of a shock because everyone believed that they would choose Kamzin's older sister Lucia. And so Lucia decides to set off on her own mission, and Kamzin must decide what's most important to her, saving her sister or beating her to the summit. This feels like there's going to be so many twists and turns. There's definitely going to be a lot to do with the elements, which is something I am very interested in these types of books. So yeah, a dark, gritty survival story based in a snowy setting, and from that alone I just know I'm gonna love it. And then the second book that I bought alongside that one is one that I am so intrigued by. I haven't really seen a lot of things about this book, but when I first saw it and read the description, I knew I had to have it immediately. And that is Seasons of the Storm by El Cosimano. And for this one, I honestly think it's better for me just to read you guys the synopsis because it just sounds absolutely amazing. So it says, one cold crisp night, Jack Summers was faced with that choice: live forever according to the ancient magical rules of Gaia or die. Jack chose to live, and in exchange he became a winter. Like the other seasons, each year Jack must hunt and kill the one before him. Gaia's rules are pretty straightforward. Winter kills autumn, autumn kills summer, summer kills spring, and spring kills winter. Which means that Jack kills Amber, Amber kills Julio, Julio kills Fleur, and Fleur kills Jack. They die, they train, they hunt. But when Jack and Fleur, winter and spring, fall for each other against all odds, the true brutality of their eternal lives become all too personal and all too painful. And Fleur is on the brink of being purged forever, unless they can come up with a plan to stop the cycle. When the four seasons unite, risking immortality for a chance at love and to reclaim their free will, their cross-country escape brings them to a place where they must defend each other against a creator who seeks to destroy them all. This is just so fascinating to me. I've never seen a story based around the seasons and the way the seasons change, so it's just going to be one that I feel like I'm going to absolutely love. I'm not sure when I'll get to it, hopefully soon, but I've said that about every book in this book haul so far, so we'll see. And then the last book in this category is actually a book that I got in a fairy loot box, and it is October's fairy loot box, but we did actually receive it in November, so if you don't want to be spoiled for the book then please skip ahead. But that is Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerry Maniscalco, and guys, this is the most beautiful edition that Fairy Loot have ever done. Everything about this book is just absolutely beautiful. Like, look at that. I have filmed an unboxing for this box though, so I will leave that link down below, so please watch that if you want to see what this book is like in full. And I've just had to check that I'm getting this synopsis right, so bear with me. Yeah, Amelia and her twin sister Vittoria have been inseparable all their lives. As Strega, witches who exist secretly among humans, they know the dangers of drawing attention and work at their family's renowned Sicilian restaurant, avoiding notice and persecution. But one night Vittoria doesn't come home, and it's not long before a distraught Amelia discovers the body of her beloved twin, desecrated beyond belief. Devastated, Amelia vows to find her sister's killer and seek vengeance at any cost, even if it means calling upon a dark magic that has been long forbidden. Then Amelia meets Wrath, one of the wicked, princes of hell she has been warned against since she was a child. Wrath claims to be on Amelia's side, tasked by his master with solving a series of murders on the island, of which Vittoria is the latest victim. But when it comes to the wicked, nothing is as it seems. Another one that just sounds right up my street. It sounds very similar to The Beautiful, which again I do mention in my unboxing, but another dark murder mystery with paranormal elements. You know, it's definitely one that I'm going to enjoy. And then lastly we have my Christmas pile. So these are all Christmassy books, which I'm so excited for, but I didn't realise how much I'd bought. But in my defence, Waterstones were running double points at this time, and I bought quite a few books then, and I've also had my eye on some of these books for a while anyway, so I thought I'd pick them up now. The first one I have, oh, it's actually a pre-order, so maybe I should have put it in the first category, but oh well. That one is Murder in the Snow by Verity Bright, and on the cover here it says a gripping 1920s historical cozy mystery. So yeah, one winter in 1920, the amateur sleuth Lady Eleanor Swift is feeling festive, and so she's decided to invite all the people in her village to her house for the festive season. As the snowflakes begin to fall, Eleanor is cheering on the contestants for the annual Christmas fun race, but tragedy strikes when one of the runners drops dead at the finish line. Dashing Detective Selden is convinced that this is a heart attack, but Lady Eleanor is not so sure. When she finds a rather distinctive key where the man fell, Eleanor knows that she'll never rest until she finds out what happened to this man and who killed him. So this is the fourth book in the Lady Eleanor Swift mysteries. I'd never heard of this book before, but it did pop up on my recommendations page. I had a look at it and I thought it was perfect for the festive season. Hopefully I don't really need to know anything anything more about the other books before diving into this one, because I do plan on reading this in December. I mean, I plan on reading all of these in December, it's why I bought them, but there we are. But the next book that I bought is Murder Most Festive by Ada Moncrief, and I feel like this is going to be a very similar vibe to the last book that I showed you. So in this story, it's actually Christmas Eve of 1938, and it says the Westbury family and assorted friends have gathered for another legendary celebration at their beautiful country house. The champagne flows, the silverware sparkles, and upstairs the rooms are ready for their occupants. But one bed will lie empty that night. On Christmas morning, David Campbell Scott is found dead in the snow. There's a pistol beside him and only one set of footprints. Yet something doesn't seem right to the amateur sleuth Hugh Gaveston. Campbell Scott had just returned from overseas with untold wealth. Why would he kill himself? Hugh sets out to investigate. So yeah, another Christmassy murder mystery. Apparently the beginning of the 1900s was just the perfect setting for some Christmas mysteries. Next up we have The Adventures of the Christmas Pudding by Agatha Christie. This is actually a collection of short stories following Poirot, except for one little story at the end where we follow Miss Marple. When I bought this, I didn't realise that only the first book would be Christmassy, but I have decided that in December I am just going to read the first story in this. Again, it's a festive murder mystery, and I think the first one is only about 60 pages, so it should be one that I fly through. So I feel like one Christmassy morning or afternoon, I will just sit down and read this in one sitting. Following on from that, I then bought Hercule Poirot's Christmas, again by Agatha Christie. I'm honestly not sure what this book is about because I can't find a synopsis on it anywhere. I might just check Goodreads quick actually, bear with me. So all it says here is, in Hercule Poirot's Christmas, the holidays are anything but merry when a family reunion is marred by murder, and the notoriously fastidious investigator is quickly on the case. The wealthy Simon Lee has demanded that all four of his sons, one faithful, one prodigal, one impecunious, one sensitive, and their wives return home for Christmas. But a heartwarming family holiday is not exactly what he has in mind. He bedevils each of his sons with barbed insults and finally announces that he is cutting off their allowances and changing his will. Poirot is called in the aftermath of Simon Lee's announcement. I don't feel like I need to say any more about this book, and you're probably sick of me saying festive murder mystery again and again, so guess what? I'm gonna leave it there and put this book down. Next up we have a Christmassy thriller, and that is The Christmas Killer by Alex Pine. So in this one, D.I. James Walker is ready for a quiet Christmas at home, but when he opens an early Christmas present that has been left on his doorstep, he soon realises that this is no ordinary gift. Inside is a gruesome surprise and a promise. 12 days, 12 murders. And not long after this, the first body is found in the snow. And it says here, as the blizzards descend, panic spreads throughout the remote Cumbrian village. There's a killer amongst them, and with 11 more victims to go, anyone could be next. This is a bit of a different read for me. I don't read a lot of thrillers, but I thought even if I don't get to this Christmas, my mum definitely will. I think this is the type of book she'd love, and I do plan on going home for Christmas if I can, so this is one that I will definitely be making her read. And then I feel like we're ending this haul on a really nice note with this next book, and that is Letters from Father Christmas by J.R.R. Tolkien. You guys know that I am absolutely obsessed with Tolkien and his works. The Lord of the Rings trilogy is my favourite trilogy and franchise of all time. I have so much love for it that I can't even begin to describe to you guys. But this is a really nice little book full of letters that Tolkien sent to his children at Christmas. I don't know how well you can see, probably not well, but it consists of a lot of illustrations of letters and correspondence between him and his family that I just think is absolutely beautiful. And I think it's so interesting to be able to see into the mind of Tolkien in such a different way. I mean, look how cute this is, guys. I think it's just so wholesome. It probably won't take that long to read either, which is really good. And it just says here, every December an envelope bearing a stamp from the North Pole would arrive for J.R.R. Tolkien's children. Inside would be a letter in strange spidery handwriting and a beautiful coloured drawing. They were from Father Christmas, telling wonderful tales of life at the North Pole. How all the reindeer got loose and scattered presents all over the place. How the accident-prone polar bear climbed the North Pole and fell through the roof of Father Christmas's house into the dining room. How he broke the moon into 4 pieces and made the man in it fall into the back garden. How there were wars with a troublesome horde of goblins who lived in the cave beneath the house. Sometimes the polar bear would scrawl a note, and sometimes Ilbereth the elf would write in his elegant flowing script, adding yet more life and humour to the stories. I feel like this is a book that's just going to make you so happy. I will definitely be picking up this book closer to Christmas. It is very short, and like you saw, it is a lot of illustrations and photos, so I think it would just be so nice to read before Christmas, and I think it would be such a nice present to gift to someone as well. Wow, we have finally made it to the end of this book haul. Thank you so much if you stuck with me. I didn't realise how many books I'd actually bought this month, but it is a lot. Don't worry, I am planning on going on a book buying ban in the new year because I need to, but these are books that I've had my eye on for so long, and I just decided that before Christmas I should pick them up and treat myself. Now we've come to the Welsh word of the day, and for this one I thought I'd give you the translation for Santa Claus, and in Welsh we call Santa Claus Sion Corn. Sion Corn. If you'd like to be featured in one of my videos, then please comment a word down below that you would like for me to translate as the Welsh word of the day, and leave a Santa Claus emoji down below as well, so I know that you've watched all the way through. But that is it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It truly does mean the world to me, and I will see you soon in my next video. Goodbye!